So car parts typically have really self-explanatory names. You got the fuel pump, literally it pumps the fuel up to the motor. You got the starter, it turns the motor over so the engine can start. You got the spark plug, it's literally a plug that sparks. And then, you got the distributor. The distributor does exactly what the name says. It distributes the spark. This isn't a fancy MSD distributor, this is just a cheap one from Summit. It was $89.99. I know most of you guys are here for the truck, but if there is anyone interested, I'll put the link down below. I read a bunch of reviews on it because I wasn't sure which one I wanted to go with, and a lot of people have said that they really like this one. And for the price, 90 bucks, can't beat it. I think a comparable MSD one was like 180, something like that, so twice as much. And obviously, if you can't tell, it's an HEI unit, so pretty much it's just plug and play. Just drop it in, hook up your ignition wire, hook up the vacuum advance, and you're good to go, assuming you set the timing right. And it does come with instructions, tells you everything you need to do, and a bunch of stuff for California. The vacuum and mechanical advance are both preset at our factory to meet the CARB requirements, California Air Resource Board's requirements for use on highway. Any adjustment of the distributor's advance mechanisms is illegal except for racing vehicles, which may never be driven upon the highway. Now you guys know. So just to make things fun, we're going to follow these directions step by step. Step 1. Remove the air cleaner if necessary to gain access to the base of the distributor. It is a good idea to cover the carburetor with a shop rag or a piece of plastic to protect it against accidental dropping of any small parts into the engine. I don't have an air cleaner, so we're good on that. 2. Remove the distributor connections. Let's go do that. The only things connected to this distributor are the power wire right there and the vacuum hose. And then obviously all the plug wires, which are just fucking cobbled together leftovers off shit. We'll be replacing these, so I'm just gonna yoink them off. Alright, piece of cake. What's next? 3, remove the spark plug retention ring if equipped, and the wires. We already done that, so fuck these guys. Remove the distributor cap and mark the location of the rotor and the vacuum advance canister using a fixed point on the engine, a bracket, or the firewall so that you can install the new distributor in the same location. Vacuum canister is right there. See? It's right there. Alright, now that that's marked, we'll pop the cap off. Yo, what are you doing? Honestly, it looks like the rotor's pointing right at the tip of the vacuum canister. So if we keep that in mind, we should be good. And if we don't keep that in mind, we will... And step 4, loosen retaining... That's a weird way of wording it. Loosen retaining hold down and lift distributor from engine. We can do that. You can see it right there. That is pretty warm still. And it says lift distributor from engine. There you go. That is one distributor. Lower new distributor into position. Making sure that the rotor is pointed the same way it was. And keep in mind when you drop it in, the rotor's gonna turn clockwise a little bit. A tooth off. That's damn near perfect. So if you guys remember, the vacuum canister is pointing at that Sharpie marker, and then the rotor was pointing at the tip of the vacuum canister. It's off a little bit, but it is damn near perfect. I think that's about as close as I'm gonna get it. So what's the rest of it say? The rotor and vacuum canister should be aimed at the same fixed points they were for the old distributor. After the new distributor has been lowered into place, you may find that it hasn't seated firmly. This one has. It's down there all the way. So I think we're all good there. I'll put down that hold down clamp, tighten everything down. And then we'll move on to step 6, which is install the distributor install the cap and plug wires, which got those new plug wires there. So the new wires, once I get them all cut to the right length, it'll clean up the engine bay a lot, and then obviously there's wiring over there that looks like trash and wiring here that looks like trash, but it's the little things that count, right? Alright, we got all the plug wires in place and kind of routed how I want them for now. The main goal here, aside from obviously getting good spark and good connection on everything, I want it to look nice. So I'm trying to keep them all together and kind of uniform. These front ones are a pain in the nut. But we're at the point now where we're ready to cut the lengths and put the end terminals on. And normally what I do, and what I think a lot of people do, is they'll take the grease up the wire, slide the boot on, boot's down here, and then they'll put the connector on and then slide the boot back up over it. But since since this is an HEI distributor and I'm not going to be using this coil wire, I tested on that end right there, the way they say to do it on the instructions, which is put the connector on and then grease it and then put the boot on. I've never done it that way, but I know that that's the way that the instructions always say to do it for the HEI style. So that's what I did, and I'm not gonna lie, it was way easier. So we got that, take that and just flip it down like so, and then slide the connector on. I like to go as far as I can. And then these crimp tools came with the wire set. Slide the wire in there, and then just start crimping and squeeze like a motherfucker. That is one crimped boy. And then from here all we'll do is, woohoo, gotcha. Then we'll just take some of the dielectric grease that came with it and just splooge some right here on the back of it. You don't need a shitload of it, just a good healthy amount of splooge. That should be enough. And then just like that, it's all back together. Got all the wires cut and they're all tidied up. Unfortunately, I do have to have the zip tie here because I kept wanting to fall on the header and the one there against the tranny lines. But it is all back together. I did take it down the road after, kind of jerry-rigged this TV cable together. And the first time I took it down the road, it was still way too sloppy. I think that might have been like the final straw on the camel's back sort of situation, but we got it a whole lot tighter now. It was wanting to shift really hard. Like, I think it's too tight now. It was wanting to shift way too hard, but it was still, I don't know, it was super funky. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that just yet, because I definitely think that the transmission was fine the other day, but this last outing I think might have been the final straw for it. So we'll see about that. But the new distributor's in, the plug wires are on. It definitely cleaned it up a lot. They're not all sloppy, just hanging out everywhere. And the red's nice. Yeah, I was hoping to end this video with some cool burnout or something, but if the transmission's hurt, I don't want to push it too much. I'm going to try and figure out what to do about that cable, and then we'll go from there. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.